Now, before we begin, the very first thing you need to do is to sterilize all the tools that you're going to be using to make this remedy. You can choose to boil a pot of water, put the tools in the water, turn the stove off, leave it there for 5 minutes, or you can choose to boil some water, pour it on everything you're going to be using like I am showing here. You're going to need a small jar for storing, you're going to need a spatula, you're also going to need a small bowl for mixing, and you're going to need a knife for cutting your garlic and even a cutting board. Make sure to run your cutting board under hot water or pour hot water on your cutting board before you start. Now that is out of the way, let's move on. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare the garlic. Now I'm going to use around about 3 cloves of garlic for this recipe. So let's remove the garlic from the head. Now once this is done, the next thing that I'm going to do is to peel the garlic. Peeling the garlic is pretty easy. I like to just cut the top part off and then I take my fingers and strip the garlic. Now once this is done, take a look. Here I have my peeled garlic. So the first thing I'm going to do with the peeled garlic, I'm going to chop them in small pieces. So finely chop the garlic as fine as you can. Once this is done, I'm going to reach for my bowl. For this recipe, I like to use a wooden bowl. However, you can use whatever plastic or glass container you have once it is sterilized. So I'm going to place my garlic in the bowl. And next, I'm going to reach for the oil of choice. Today I'm using coconut oil. However, you can also choose to use olive oil for this recipe. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil over the garlic. Let's pour this in. And once this is done, I am going to put this aside for a couple of hours, maybe about 3 hours or more, no less, for the garlic to infuse in the coconut oil. Now, garlic contains a compound called allicin, and how you release this compound is to finely chop your garlic and set it aside for a few minutes or so. Personally, for me, I like to set it aside for at least 3 hours, no less, to get the maximum allicin that you could get from the garlic. So just chop your garlic and leave it on your countertop for at least 3 hours. Now once this is done, you're going to reach back for your garlic, and what we're going to do next, we are going to blend the garlic. Now if you do not have a blender at this stage, you can use a small mortar and you can crush the garlic, finely crush the garlic by pounding on it. If you have a blender, go ahead and add the garlic and coconut oil to the blender. Once this is done, we are gonna blend, and we're gonna blend to a puree. So just keep blending, and this is gonna take about 3 minutes or so, depending on the power of your blender. Now take a look. Here we have our garlic and coconut oil puree. You can choose to remove any of the lumps that is left over that wasn't blended. Next, we're going to reach for some jojoba oil, and jojoba oil also is one of the better oil to use in this recipe. We're using just a little, around about a half a teaspoon of the jojoba oil, and we're pouring this in. And next, we're going to reach for our final oil, and here I have some tea tree oil. Tea tree oil contains antibacterial, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory properties. This is one of the best oil to use for this purpose. So we're using about a half a teaspoon of the tea tree oil. Also guys, if you do not have the jojoba oil, you can choose to leave it out. Just add a little extra tea tree oil to the remedy. And now what we're going to do, we are going to mix, and we're going to mix well. Now after mixing, we're going to reach for our storage jar, and we're going to pour this in our storage jar. Make sure your storage jar have a wide mouth with a tight cover. So let's just pour this in. Now once this is done guys, what we're going to do, we are going to cover this, and we're going to leave it on our countertop for another hour or two, or even overnight, for it to be more stronger. But if you're in a hurry, you can choose to use it right away. It gets better with age. Now the way to use this guys is pretty easy. What you're gonna do, you can use this on the outside, and this is gonna help to ease the itching. It's gonna help to ease the burn. However, when you first apply it, you might feel a little sting just as you apply, and you want to apply this to the outer area, not on the inside, just the outer area. Just rub it gently all over, and once this is done, I suggest you wear a panty shield with this, and you're going to leave this on. Now this method, you can use it AM or PM. It's not gonna let you walk around smelling like garlic at all. Next, you're going to reach for your pad, and I'm just using a paper towel to demonstrate here. And you're going to take a bit of it, just like I'm showing here. Clean hands, and you're going to rub this over your pad just like this. And what you're going to do, you're going to put this on, and you're going to go to bed, and you're going to sleep with that. And upon arising in the morning, you're going to take it off, and you can choose to use a new one, or you can choose to rub it like the way I showed you earlier. Within 3 days guys, this is gonna clear up. Make sure to toss the pad. You do not reuse it in the morning. Make a fresh pad, clean pad, add more to it, and go ahead and use again. Only 3 days guys. Within 3 days it should clear up. All right, so this you will discard after 3 days of using it, and hopefully you don't get it again. But if you should get it again, you definitely make a new bag.